Reading Ambedkar. Speech at Roundtable Conference. The second difficulty arises from the economic position in which the depressed classes are found today. The depressed classes have no economic independence in most part of the presidency. Some cultivate the land of the orthodox classes as their tenant at will. Others live on their earning as farm laborers and employed by the orthodox classes, and the rest assist on the food or grain given to them by the orthodox classes in lieu of service rendered to them as village servants. We have heard numerous instances where the orthodox classes have used their economic power as a weapon against those depressed classes in their village, when the latter have dared to exercise their rights and have evicted them from their lands and stopped their employment and discontinued their remuneration as village servants. This boycott is often planned on such an extensive scale as to include the prevention of the depressed classes from using the commonly used path and stoppage of the necessaries of life by village banya. According to the evidence, sometimes small causes suffer for the proclamation of a social boycott against depressed classes. Frequently, it follows on the exercise of the depressed classes of their right to the use of common well. But cases have been by no means rare where a stringent boycott has been proclaimed simply because of depressed class. Man has put on the sacred thread and brought a piece of land, has put on good clothes or ornament, or has carried a marriage procession with the bridegroom on the horse through the public street. We do not know of why any weapon more effective than the social boycott, which could have been invented for the suppression of the depressed classes. The method of open violence pales away before it, and it has the common far-reaching of the deadening effects. It is more dangerous because it possesses a lawful method consistent with the theory of freedom of contact. We agree that this tyranny of the majority must be put down with a firm hand if we are to guarantee the depressed classes the freedom of speech and action necessary for their uplift. A third thing which the depressed classes fear more than anything, any community, in that whatever representation they may be granted in the new legislature, they will always be in a very small minority, and consequently having regard to the apathetic attitude of orthodox classes towards the depressed classes. There is always the danger of the interest of the depressed classes being neglected altogether, or some action taken which may ultimately prove to be prejudicial to their interest.